Hi folks, Kevin Stacey here, freelance guitar player. I'd like to talk to you today about how to develop a good rhythm sound and how to get all the variations that you'll often see professionals putting into their playing. When you first start out on the guitar, it's quite difficult to figure out how they can get such a rich rhythmic sound. Well, there are a few tricks to it, but once you know how, like everything in life, it's pretty easy, and I'll show you how to do it. If you've ever seen a drummer work, you'll know that he doesn't play the same pattern on every drum. In other words, it's a mixture of alternating sounds. So we have to do pretty much the same thing on the guitar. Now, as you've probably realized already, just by holding down a chord and strumming smoothly with your right hand evenly across the strings is probably not the most inspiring thing you've ever heard, and certainly not rhythmically. So how are we going to change that? Well, what we have to do to get an alternating sound is to develop what we call percussion. And the way we do that is to put your hand on the neck of the guitar so the strings are damped and not ringing, and you get this kind of sound, dead sound. And if you strum evenly with your right hand across the strings with this damped sound, you will get this. The idea is to keep it smooth, even. Well, you might be saying to yourself, well, that's all very well, what use is that to us? Right, well, what we do, we're going to need this percussive noise so that when we release the pressure of our hand on the chord, which of course will cut the chord dead, controls the length of the sound, the gap that is formed will be filled by the percussive noise from the strings. Here's a simple example. I'll just stay on one chord. I won't put any variation in to start with. I'll just go back to what we were doing a few seconds ago. Here we go. So this is just straight. This time I'm going to pulse the fingers on this hand, the chord hand, at the rhythm and the style that I want to hear. And of course, every time I pulse my chord hand, the strings will stop ringing. That gap is then filled by the percussive noise set up with the right hand. One chord, same thing. This time we'll put the variations in. You can see how it works. I'll do it slowly to start with. If we speed that up, let's put in a couple more chords. Let's try something. I'll give you another example. Slightly more exotic chord. Same principle. If you just hold the chord down and play it straight, you won't get any variation. You'll just get this. Not the most interesting thing you've ever heard. So now we put the variations in. Again, pulsing the rhythm that I want to hear with my left hand. Here we go. I hope you'll agree that a lot more interesting sound. So also the thing you have to bear in mind, and this is probably what you'll run across when you first start to do that, is as you start to pulse the rhythm you want to hear with this hand, it's likely to interrupt what you're doing with this hand. And you've got to practice so that doesn't happen. This pattern stays constant no matter what's going on over here. This must stay constant. Doesn't matter the style of music. We'll try a reggae, a different key. It's the same process, even different style. We set the rhythm of the percussive noise up with this hand, and then we play the chords with your left hand. Here we go. I'll do that again slowly. A lot of percussion. Now, what I've given you here is something, a kind of style that if you're playing on your own, you might use, because you're trying to create the atmosphere, the rhythm that a band might put together. Now, if I was playing in a band, I'd have to change what I'm playing completely. Because I've got a bass player and a drummer and maybe a keyboard player, putting all those variations and parts in doesn't leave me a great deal of room. So what I would do is probably just pick out the top notes of the chord and play it very simply like this. So, to sum up, learn to generate this percussive sound. Keep this constant. The variations that you want to hear in the rhythm is where you pulse with your left hand. Doesn't matter the style of the music. This stays constant. Always the same process. Anyway, hope that's explained a few things to you folks. Have a good day, and see you again soon, I hope.